Madam Mon from the UBPSS. We will be handling today's moderation for the portfolio of Minister of Student Affairs.
Thank you, Kise. I would like to have the candidates to introduce themselves. Could all of 3 minutes maximum to introduce yourself. Can you please introduce yourself, sir?
Thank you, moderator. We to go right, negate sabaka sige go dumedise. Ke bitswa la lo gote Karabo Cleopatra Malasheri, who also affectionately responds to the mention of Comrade Leo. I'm a fellow engineer who's doing his level 400. As an engineer, I have scorned skills of innovation. I've scorned skills of problem solving. As an engineer, I'm someone who dedicates his day to find solutions for student problems. So, as I'm honored, not just in my studies, I'm also a dedicated class rep. I've also been a course rep, but nonetheless, facing challenges and striving through struggles, facing hunger, facing challenges of transport issues, facing struggles of not having enough allowance. Okay, sorry for that. Facing struggles of not having enough transport money, facing struggles of not having enough allowance, facing struggles of living in times of inflations, facing struggles of living in times of not knowing what tomorrow holds for you. As a fellow student who lives in Madikolo, who lives off campus, who lives through struggle each and every day, who interacts with students every day, I have challenged myself to advocate for those problems by running for this Ministry of Student Affairs. So, I would like to introduce myself as a fellow engineer who is innovative. Innovative, I mean that I have the skills to find solutions even in pressurizative conditions. As an engineer, we always work under pressure, and that is something that is rare in many categories. So, as a problem-solving skill that I have scorned, I have used it to find policies. I have used it to find solutions for some of the problems that I've picked up when I was working with students hand in hand. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this time to conclude by saying UBCD is the movement that gave me this chance to run for this ministry, and I would like you to know it, master it, and vote for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me take this time to appreciate the directors here, the moderators. Thank you. And let me take this time again to recognize the presence of our fellow leaders in this room. Again, greetings to you, Mitutukola Bay. Wherever you're watching us from, we appreciate you for taking the time and putting a glance in this particular gesture here that is here. For introduction, give you a bit Terra Kerasitwe. Terra Kerasitwe, in terms of the experience that I've had within the University of Botswana. I'm an athlete, a competitive athlete. I've played for both rugby, for the UB rugby, possessing 2 medals there. I've played for the UB Taekwondo Club, possessing also an individual medal there. I'm the current president of the UBBSC Association. I stand before you as the president again of the Isaho Academy. I stand before you again with as a selfless leader, having volunteered multiple times as a peer orientator, showing my level of leadership without expecting any level of reward. But again, there's going to be a few issues that I'm going to address where they will tackle this particular topic where I believe there's supposed to be a level of fairness in that particular department there for the volunteer community. I also stand before you, everyone, as a third-year student, having advocated multiple times for student wellness, as well as advocated for inclusivity within the University of Botswana. Having recognized multiple times that there's been times and time again, different intervals where I feel like only certain people within the university are only adjudicated to only attend few things while the other ones have not been taken seriously. For example, if you look at the SRC, most of the time you think that it only focuses on on-campus students. And inclusivity, we are saying that also the off-campus community should also be involved in matters of the student community. We need engagement, not only in academic excellence, but also in excellence for personal development as well. And that is why I believe that with the diverse level of experience that I've had within the University of Botswana in terms of leadership, sports and schools, and all that, I believe that I stand as a competent leader to advocate most importantly for the ministry or portfolio of student affairs. And I say to you that when the time has come to foster a new dispensation into the parliament of the University of Botswana, there is nothing that anybody can do from any political affiliated movement. Ke nako ya gore re le baithuti re itse ka tlhoafalo, ke nako ya gore re le baithuti re tse baeteledipele ba ile gore ke ba tlhoatlhwa, ke nako ya gore re le baithuti re tse baeteledipele ba gore they put the student best interest at heart. And I believe I am the one to do that for you. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, University of Botswana community. My name is Franz Kahongoma. I'm a University of Botswana full-time student, pursuing Bachelor's of Science in Exercise Science and Wellness. And I sit before you today as a candidate for the Ministry of Student Affairs from the GS26. The GS26 where we come with a theme to say that we are resetting Madikolo, or rather reset Madikolo agenda, where we now want to set new priorities. We want to launch or implement in new adventures of initiatives, and also make sure that we also improve our generational stakeholder engagement. So by saying that, as the candidate for the Ministry of Student Affairs, I would say I've championed various leadership initiatives or various leadership platforms in different areas in the university. I'm also a founder of the University of Botswana Society of Sports Scientists, pardon me. I'm also the chairperson currently serving under the University of Botswana Gaio Eco Club. Just to mention but a few, because my leadership track is long. So with that being said, I submit myself once again as Franz Kahongoma, the candidate for the Ministry of Student Affairs from the GS26.
Let me start by acknowledging and passing my greetings to this esteemed panel, my not so worthy opponents from the other aisle, Muitutu Amadikolo, who is present in this room and who is also watching from home. For those who are not familiar with my name, I humbly respond to the names of Tabatanda. I'm a fourth-year student in this very highly regarded University of Botswana, currently pursuing the Bachelor of Finance degree. Barato, it is an honor to be here in representation of the student body in my quest and in my mission to alleviate and address the issues that our students face on a daily basis. Now, talking about my leadership is deeply rooted in Barato. I began my leadership journey back in junior and senior school stage, where I was once appointed the Minister of Justice, the Minister of Health, the Vice President, and finally the President. Across all these positions, I learned the essence of responsibility, advocacy, and most importantly, the art of putting others first. For me, in short, leadership is not a title. For me, leadership is a calling, a responsibility to serve, to uplift, and to empower others. In short, I would say leadership is a significance of service. But beyond leadership, I'm also grounded in my faith, currently serving as an active member of the UB ZCCSF. where we preach the Vanguard program. It consists of 4 main components. So it is advocating for the students, inclusive governance, focusing on student-centered activities. As we are here, I will get on to my points so that you hear what I have to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, expectation is that we refrain from using outside party comments. No, we say outside.
Please note that a continuous disruption will lead to you being a student outside. So can you please, procedure is you go to the moderator, you press your
for the manifestos, and this is the protocol. Each and one of you, we are given 7 minutes. We are recording your time. So, Harley Misa, we don't have a chain. So, now someone like a reo, what is the degree? Arabola, Arabola manifesto.
Skip a screen, sir, as a UBCD, as a Malaya. Thank you, moderator, nonetheless. Me to do go right. Let's not talk about leadership, but we will mention it. But I'm a proud engineer who works in finding solutions. My manifesto pointers. Why? We want to introduce what we call a student economic emancipation drive. This is a drive that will advocate for increasing student allowances, timely accreditations, and also advocating tracking for off-camp balances. We do go right because since each and every time it shows that the money that we have or the money that we agreed on with DTF, since this is a signed agreement, is less than what it should cover for our daily basis needs. Nonetheless, I want to tell you that as the UBCD, we want to eliminate this financial strain. We want to create what a significant amount that will allow you to be able to at least enroll in doing your driver's license. I had the gesture on my attachment to learn that it is very important to have a driver's license when you find, or when it's very important to write that you have a driver's license in your CV or somewhere, because it is needed for your enrollment in a job opportunity. So it's very important that you have at least a significant amount to enroll in driving schools, or we should negotiate with drivers school masters to at least give a student discount for students to be able to do and finish their driver's lessons. We also want, as the incoming SRC, to press for regular reviews on student allowances, aligning them with inflation and rising costs. We want to develop also a tracking system that will eliminate this off-campus balance issue. Today I am at 3 months. I am deserve as an off-campus. So as an engineer who works with softwares, who work with database, as an engineer who works with systems of various categories, various methods, various. We want to create a trading system that will be able to isolate those students who are off campus. Mind you, there are students who never even apply for accommodation on campus because is not promising at all. They lost hope on it. So we want to eliminate that off-campus issue by creating a trading system. Moving on to my second point, we want to create a pathway to progress pact. This one will deal with restoring sponsorships and ensuring academic extensions for those facing difficulties. But let me mention this. It is an honor that many students were able to scoop their sponsorships and extensions because it was a national election year. But beyond that, maybe this situation will be different and harsh. We want to eliminate that era by collaborating with maybe alumni sponsors to fund students who do not have the resources or do not have enough financial to sponsor themselves. But so I come from a faculty where FD is a slot name. FD is soft to take. A faculty whereby students live under pressure every day. So we know when we talk of FD, we talk of something that is real, and it scares us most of the time. But in the graduation, we had some of our graduates that are honored. But that is a scheme that we want to develop. We want to develop also. We want to work with different academic departments to create a grant, an automatic grant that will give extensions to students who have financial problems. Point number 3. A student economic liberation agenda. This one will deal with student businesses. We want to promote student businesses and entrepreneurship development. So it's very disappointing that when I started my first year here, till my third year now, till my fourth, I'm on my level 100. We no longer see them now, since I started my fourth year. So we want to at least negotiate for hotspots. For example, the Lenovo caravan that is that side, 247. For at least you have a 2 or at least by 2 they have these businesses. We want to create a business incubator. This business incubator will create those hotspots, negotiate those hotspots for these entrepreneurs. And we want to also encourage or organize student business expos. We want to create student center, host events every time. We want students to acknowledge, or we want student business to be acknowledged every time. Expo, those who showed me their merchandises, there are those who want their things to be seen out there. We want to promote those. Okay, now point number 4. We want to create a tuition equity framework. This one, so it will deal with a discount on tuition fees and core subjects, especially for self-sponsored students. But self-sponsored students are students who do not have government pouring money into them, like us, are not fortunate like us. So these students are mostly the ones affected with the tuition fees. So when we do that, without any difficulty, we want to create a tuition equity framework which will allow them to be discounted their tuition fees. How is this possible? But so this is possible by seeking external funding. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Comrade, I want to. re lapile ke puso e leng gore ya bata ya kopa me ga e dire ke nna ko yone ya gore re nne more radical. We need leaders ba e leng gore they are ruthless with themselves. Ha e le gore re batla go usher a new dispensation within the university, and then se lo ra se kopa ga se dira ga ra go dira. To get on to my first point is my manifesto. Ladies and gentlemen, baithuti ba madikolo ba raletse dikgwetlho. Gompieno ga lebella moithuti e leng gore, let's say for example they forget the padlock mo room e lotletse room wa teng a ba tswa tsama wa go letswa go lebagela rona mo UB re bitsa hela le gore we have a disciplinary hearing wa letswa ga te go kota madikolo 600 pula go mo tsa ka ga kitse. Secondly, the PO tsa University of Botswana, they have been misused by the University of Botswana in the name of volunteering. It's high time we put a stop to that. Each and every block within the university, you find an RA and then you find a PO. But you would find that working PO would do almost the same thing as an RA. But the service provided within the university. Me RA we're going to put a stop in that. How are we going to implement this policies working to protect the baithuti within the university? Because that is my first point. And to make sure that their rights are not violated. Point number one, my manifesto introducing a legislative oversight. Working student protection council. For example, good class. You'd find me to let's say for example, what would be a test? What would submit assignment? One, they can medical reason. Provide a medical record attend the exam because of 1, 2, 3. But the lecturer is still going to feel the student can class exam because we feel one perform like a setting or particular medical report elsewhere. This student protection council is responsible to go about with investigation in making sure that we do the examination properly. Can investigation rather than just having the lecturer discretion examination. Mind you, DTF in Samad. Mind you, DTF in Samad by tuition, by the class and so forth and so forth. University for you to qualify for an examination, or 40%. Again, the highest learning institute among Marikolo, as we claim, Rabata producer by Tuti Baylon with high competence in the working space, may recomputer can push up into the bottom 40%. We are saying to usher academic excellence. Let's shy away from making half it's a 40% there, examination. What if examination at the 60% working in order to venture into the next module and the next stage of the academics? It's high time whether business how? Over 40%, over 50% for a particular module. Marikolo udira kwebo kawe. How? Akona re duela 240 pula. What's up? For starters, UB idirile business ka ba ithuti ra go di gyming ra kokai me gape UB e robile ba ithuti from what? Venturing in their own businesses. Where are we going to get the extra cash? For now, for now, allowance are not high. Uduela transport, uduela rente, uduela but again, when I look concern our social to build the sapo, by we're gonna put a stop there. The next thing that we're gonna venture into is to establish a student entrepreneurship and innovation hub. Irle di kgwebo tsa ba ithuti ba di tsholo ke madikolo. If the Ray Ronaba Student Patriotic Fund, at the time, gets another office, Zabo protection, Sigabot, Canto Jambo by 2 million, Zabale Town of Kisa 1, 2, 3. Who penal is what a Jambo who penal said. Rabola Ore, Habanati license. Zaborekis. Can't that the university is teaching us to be employable, competent. go dira madi, go bereka, and to make money. We are going to bring this innovation hub by putting they're going to pitch in their business ideas, and then with the help, the faculty, the lecturers of business, finance departments, and everything, they're going to advise these students on how to properly articulate their businesses within the learning environment. That is the university giving back to the students and then empowering the student. It is high time. It's a group and then making extra cash. Next, we are going to form what is called an off-campus accommodation association. Borogaba IUB is the truth. We are saying, these students that have been offered accommodation in good guest housing, why can the University of Botswana students be offered such opportunities? Right now, we are going to create this association in Longoraki. Now we'll venture into researching and finding accommodations at the guest houses in Longoraki. DTF, the same way it will 4,200 people maybe is only qualified to receive 1.9. 4.2 maybe or 2,000 guest house in transport agencies at very late hours. We are saying, talking or having conversations with transport agencies that are going to affiliate with the SRC. How about affiliate the SRC? Let's say okay, the community things that have affiliated the SRC. Make up a list go by to the band thing at a group, a whole group or a particular place or reason. Okay, 25 and now we get together, 25 and now we get together, young man now we get together. It's going to assist our husband and the executive or it's wide very late hours. They provide you with transport to Lisa, Lisa, and I love by the Botswana by University of Botswana, has an going over very long distances. I have the experience of such proceedings. Late, couple 80 away, and then I have to walk being very long distances. And I'm saying it is high time off-campus community law and in those regards. The next thing, these are external issues working. The office of the president, vice president, right? It's responsible for tackling such issues. Maybe why president VP can now focus on irrelevant outside his office. Minister of Student Affairs, next, we are going to establish what is called a UB Artist Association. But the talent when there is an event, William Last, so many artists, but or within the learning environment, they are not being empowered. The talented we are saying when there is an event within the learning environment, not only are we also going to advocate to the entrance below 50 pula, we are also going to advocate to when we have an artist, an association or the artist but say performance event they qualify and they were affiliated with the association and then after the performance approve payment that is us or the university empowering the student as well. Thank you.
Okay, I would like to use English for the sake of international students that we have in the university. But first, let me say that from the GS26, we do not focus on financial giveaways or promises without clear funding plans. We offer sustainable and practical solutions. That is what we stand for as the GS26. So while others are pointing fingers, we are building a foundation for student empowerment through these practical solutions that we are really talking about as DGS. You will understand that when I introduce myself, I said that we come with a theme that is called the Reset Magical Agenda, where we are saying that we are trying to set in new priorities, adopting new approaches, and also putting new implementations, as well as advancing generation of stakeholder engagement, right? So, our campaign has key pillars that we are going to be focusing on. Firstly, we have the academic excellence and support, of which I want to believe is mostly covered under the Ministry of Academic Affairs, pardon me, and then student employability and skills development. That is where I would like to start. Here we are trying to come up with initiatives or entrepreneurship initiatives. We understand that we are here to learn as the University of Botswana students, but not only that, we also need to prepare ourselves for the corporate world that we are going to be joining as after 4 years. We're also talking about job shadowing. We're also talking about the STEM pathways, right? So here, we are going to establish what we call the Student Business District. The Student Business District here is where now we're going to have various business incubators where we're going to partner with private sector, partnership and private sector. This is where we want to generate stakeholder engagement, right? Industry partnerships. We're going to be having different business plan competitions, hackathons and ideathons. We're also going to make sure that we have mentorship programs for such. And then, still under this key pillar, student employability and skills development, we're going to have what we call initiative, where we're going to work with the already existing business clinic to ensure that the University of Botswana students' businesses are incubated. They are reserved. Each and every University of Botswana student who wants to run a business is registered, fully registered and supported with the SRC. That is what we are going to be doing. And we're also going to adopt a plan where we are now going to engage different stakeholders from outside. Remember, University of Botswana is a parastatal. So it works with other stakeholders like Bonebo Lea, like Bonebo Cedar, right? So we need to educate Banaba Madikolo about these developments or these already existing initiatives or programs out there. And then also we're going to have another pillar where we're going to focus on the healthcare and well-being of the University of Botswana student community, right? Where we're going to be talking about proposing mental health programs, partnering with external companies or partnering with private sector, where we establish what we call the CSR, bringing in new projects or solutions to already existing problems like mental health, to alleviate the density that already our departments in school is facing, right? We're going to outsource external student support services for departmental relief. We're talking of departments like student welfare, we're talking of departments like careers and counseling, we're talking of departments like legal services and health services, of course. So that is what we're going to be focusing on under the health and wellness service pillar. And then another one, inclusivity and student engagement. We want to establish what we call the Student Disability for Spice. It's a program where leaders are trained. Or just coming here because I know SRC is the only way to leadership. No, we need to bring in programs now that actually build professional leaders, not leaders by name. We need leaders who are really professional leaders or have that qualities that they really deserve. We're going to be training leaders. And another thing, to ensure that we engage students in the university, we are going to make sure that we establish different programs like the introduction of the driving school. The driving school and classes, there's a company that is called I6 by extension here. So partnering with such companies and ensuring that we bring them in the university to actually help us about the driving, acquiring driver's license while you're still an undergraduate. Level or focusing on them as the GS26.
And also, we are also going to make sure that we establish programs like Adopt a Block initiative in the University of Botswana to alleviate departments like maintenance, where now we bring in unit partnership hub, CSR, remember, corporate social responsibility, calling private sector or private companies to partner with the University of Botswana, adopting a block, for example, adopting a residential block for renovation, for maintenance, or adopting an academic block for provision of reading material or for provision of better or improved or high profile or high quality studying equipment, right? We're also going to make sure that we focus on SDGs 26. Another thing is that we are going to show that we are going to come up with what we call the affirmative plan for marginalized student communities. Marginalized student communities including the disabled, including the women, females, for example, and also including those who are pronounced for under different sexual orientations. So we're going to make sure that such are also included in our plan or in our projects as the GS26. By doing so, we're not only saying that we are going to issue, we're going to make sure that they also take up leadership roles in different projects that we are going to be starting up in the university. Remember that the UBSRC has also been given a platform where they can establish projects. For example, the outgoing SRC or the GS26 SRC, they've been able to come up with different projects right now that are currently running, right? We're talking of projects, the new...
But so permit me not to repeat more now to the message, as it will take time and derail important submissions. I want to go straight into my points. But we should know that this portfolio of student affairs is the heart of the SRCs. I have many points, but due to time, because which I understand, I will touch only few that addresses the most teething problems that you face as the students of UB. But as the Minister of Student Affairs, my first priority will be to advocate for increased government funding and subsidies to ensure the smooth operation of the University of Botswana. I agree, but what I mean is, the University of Botswana is a parastatal. For it to function properly, it needs proper financial support from the government. That's where most of our problems emerge. But university I want to how do we maintenance? Food subsidies. The reason why maintenance are so low and poor is because university the government area teletse pelo gonana goromenta wa ga ngoma yo re remote gape ke the very reason why re le mo semong se re le mo go sona. All these maintenance problems, lack of water, is not because the university maintenance staff is incompetent. No, it's because the university does not have the necessary resources and does not get proper funding. Currently, the university is operating on an operational budget. It does not receive the maintenance budget from the government like it was receiving back in 2017 and backwards. The reports show, the proven statistics show that the university needs approximately 200 million pula for adequate maintenance. Honana, Haribua, Humpieno Terra, how to blogo jaha ways out up. Also, Hatanit could be also only Sweko Haisalahan we so tap. That's maintenance issues. Say the word, Horment the Waham, listen again, but it's the Mogoto. That's the first thing that you are going to do. Relemona way to the Harry, Hona, Bertola Halal, Zabete, Pilbarno, TikTok, Rebele Mapara, Ribuarico Hakevi, Ra, Hubola, Labete, Pilbarno, Comrade, Twamo TikTok, Zenamo grounding, Matana way to Amo grounding. We have to fix this maintenance system. The food subsidies, Humpian Hall level about to Botswana about bills, Baraka breakfast, they want an 8 pool. That's because they are provided with the government funding. Their food are subsidized. When I would be o reka breakfast 25 pula ka lunch o swantse go roje ka supper o swantse go roje madi a gago a thakanya ira bokae on top of the inadequate and below average allowance that you are already receiving from government wa gago. Ha ke tswela ba ga etso ka point ya ina bobedi. We are going to introduce what we call the housing and accommodation reform. So the population of the University of Botswana is at approximately 19,000, but there are only 5,200 bed spaces. Come on, our solution to this problem is that we are going to engage the property development companies. There are so many in this country. You can name them Regalala. Time Projects, 10 Star, Litole La Rona, you can name them. We are going to engage them so that they enter into property lease agreements with the university. Sesera hore ba kgwebi bao ba ge di hostel go University ya Botswana and own the property for a certain period of time until the university eventually takes full ownership. How is that going to happen? The very same funds that DTF is using to pay for our accommodation on-campus students, it should be le batho ba re bua le bone ba re reke property development managers hore ba ge di invest mo Botswana le ha tsile le ntse mo University of Botswana le lore ga le resuise ke lo le heletsa le diriswa go host di tournament go tshamekisiwa madi go host di tournament tsa bo monare tsa di 5 aside rare a re dirise le ha tselo leo re bue le batho ba ge di hostel mo sekolo re dumalana le bona gore they then rent out this property, these hostels to the students. The same way the DTF is doing University for Boroko. DTF is doing batho bao madi ao balemo university until they recover their money. It has never been tried by anyone. The GS26 led government Babo Bantilisa or renter until they recover their money. Haba has to recover their money and their profits. That is when the university can take full ownership of those premises or hostels. That way, resolve the Kantapedi, resolve the Kaya or University Hana Madia the hostel, even resolve the Kaya or Baituti, Banna Bon the Havana Burro, resolve the Kantapedi, Ka Kain Emohe, something that I'm not sure what Baba Mabaka. Point is the student business empowerment. We advocate for the empowerment of student businesses. As we speak, the university does not offer much needed support to the student entrepreneurs who try to make a living out of their natural skills. High support unless they have something to benefit. That's one thing. PO is volunteerism. But what I'm saying is, let the university help students able to say, in their businesses, the skills are one. They didn't run. Regarding the issues, there is an installers that most students sent. Rare, say the word, the owner of student welfare. Rare, as student welfare, city, Jaka, business clinic, eatir. They should rent out those stalls to buy two or buy two. Ravo, the cancel or we tell these other stores, these are the company, we try to avoid those issues. But to say investigate because sometimes they do not conform to their social cooperation. Back to the student community. The last time we did hear about it, we advocate for the it says,
Ladies and gents, we'll now be moving on to the questions by me and Mr. Lloyd Moore. My question is for the gentleman in green. Collaborating with the unionized sponsors. My question to you is, how do you intend to go about enticing or convincing these unionized sponsors to work with you? Hello? Hey, Mekele. How do you intend to go about on enticing or convincing these anonymized sponsors to collaborate with you? How do you intend to go about convincing alumni sponsors to collaborate with you? Lloyd.
Correct. All right. Thank you, Mr. Kise. Comrades, when you're in office, how do you plan to improve and maintain university facilities like the dysfunction of computers in the library and classroom concerning technology advancement and on-campus accommodation renovations, which are often a concern for local students? All right. Nekere Nekere, when in office, how do you plan to improve and maintain university facilities like the dysfunction of computers in the library and classrooms concerning technology advancement and on-campus accommodation renovations, which are often a concern for local students? Will you feel again? Okay. The other question is going to be concerning Rewatai Red. Okay, thank you, sir. So when you are in office, are the ways that you be doing to find, what are the ways that you'll be doing to find or get funds for those initiatives to provide quality resources for the students? What are the ways that you would do to find or get funds for those initiatives to provide quality resources for the students? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, moderator, for the questions. How do I intend to convince the alumni sponsorship to believe for it? How do I convince them again? That's the question. I did mention earlier we have a plan on creating a scheme that a group that will collect or work with students who took FD, who needs extensions, and collect data of those students who need to have extensions and make sure that they were university students. But this doesn't apply just to Marikolo. We want to do it generally across all institutions. So I believe with that data and names of students who needs help, we can easily tackle that we can easily convince them. It's about the numbers, having the people, having a record and a database of the people who need that help. Going on to my second question, how do we intend to maintain that means I'll continue. How do we plan on to maintain all of those stuff that was mentioned? 2 minutes.
For the general question, 2 minutes, maximum of 2 minutes.
On each question?
No, for the question in the ready road, for the maintenance.
So how many say 2 minutes?
No, just no. The Baba will sing directly. 2 minutes, 1 minute, and then for you for general you want 2. Thank you.
So that means I have 3. Okay. So study over. Yeah, how I intend to convince. We intend to have a group that will get a database of people who need extensions, or people who took FD, and work with them hand in hand, updating them on whether DTF opens for sponsorships or not. We believe most of them are left out because so with that database, we'll be able to convince sponsorship into finding this scheme that we are developing. How do we plan to maintain all of the stuff that was mentioned of classrooms and stuff like that? So I must mention that we have something that is directed to this one, entertainment, and other things that are there in the school. So we believe with the subvention fund, it can be redirected into maintaining the school. For maintain a school, for another subvention fund, so. But my answer is that the subvention fund should be directed to maintaining this thing.
Thank you, moderators. On how to improve the university resources. The university may give reasons how in terms of the slow maintenance, even because it's expensive to maintain bond computer. Maybe there's no staff. But let me tell you this, okay, moderator. They've been taught but they're about engineering, but they're about IT, but they're actually the courses. Why can't we hire? Why can't we seek by almost they are completing their courses? In the 15 with one individual who supervisor work ethical or thereby instill. This is them applying the first aid information about to the class, and then again helping to solve a problem within the university. And that is what I think for receive it somebody or and then receive by matata school empower for the first hand information about receiving classes. So in terms of the computer, it's a very keen district like it's over 4-7 how a single block on the red single cell or Hadibereki, Ribisa Boneba to Banka and Hotaleka, who by implement the service to the class and try to curb Matadona by 20. Ranaloko Blocom Booking and go and Ranality Babos and Banako Hadibereki, engineering student could come. Higher maintenance, while Bisa, Mohol, Mozadi, Hotabusa. Maintain and do Zabo Najal. We tell our Rari, how I could listen the Canabola Pilling also Malanchi. You have Banata School by Local Bamajatu, by Local Kisoto, Lemon, Balba has never was our replace of inch. Maybe to take Salana Le Back, Murumu, a working room I buried. Why not call by Toto Bankai? Thank you.
Okay, in answering your first question, you asked ways to get funds for the initiatives I was talking about. Right. So, firstly, you need to understand that the UBSRC has projects that is currently running. As I mentioned, they've just recently made a partnership with Legendary. It's paying floor rent, right? There is also going to be a print shop will be in the student center. These companies pay floor rent. So we're going to direct these rentals that are going to be sourced from these companies in the Rentamo University into empowering or into promoting or establishing various initiatives, looking at the budget of the different the president corporate social responsibility, where we are calling in partnership with different industry agents or different private companies out there to say, we as the University of Botswana student SRC, we have a certain project here, we would like to have a partnership or we love to have a sponsorship for such initiative or for such a project. So that is why we're also going to make sure, or what we call the civic engagement, right? Calling in different individuals or different companies, they will want to, or they will want to actually improve or renovate the university in a way through our projects that are coming in. And then you asked me a question to say, how do we aim to improve resources? I want to believe that in this question, the context comes in many ways. It can be to renovate, it can be to maintain, or it can be to generate in new income for new projects. Firstly, we are going to source, or we're going to identify underutilized spaces. And then now, we are going to make sure that for different projects or for different stuff that can benefit the university in that way. We're also going to make sure that funds that are or revenue that is generated from
how are we going to maintain our around the salvation fund? How are we going to maintain and outsource the resources that are there? Yeah, take under corporate social responsibility. Madi adirwa di company tse le mo sekolong a mantsi thata gore ba boke ba ka dira mo teng, give it back to the community. Ha re dira di initiative tsa bo adopt a block and maintain ke dio tse le di ka re thusa sefalana se sefalana ha gona se epe tiro e bonalang ya corporate social responsibility ha go palese pe gore re ba tsaye and obligate them or ask them to adopt a block and maintain. The only one about the legend, something we are strictly against because it happened student business empowerment. They should know or they have the responsibility of corporate social responsibility. They have to give back to the community. They can adopt a block, they can maintain or renovate or do something or even hire students. That is how we are going to maintain resources because resources you are maintaining resources. Human resources. Maintain.
Alright, now we'll be entertaining 2 questions from the crowd. Because of time, 2 questions per party from the crowd.
Dumelang, I'm the incoming Vice President. My question is directed to you. It is in alarm because of the redundant manifestos that you have said. The very same outgoing YSPF. All of your manifesto pointers were been said last year by the very same outgoing Minister of Student Affairs. So I'm telling him to go back to ChatGPT and generate a question. But anyways, my question is, what approach are you going to use? Are you going to use to make sure that you're not careful, they should pay for all students loan management. They should pay accommodation for all students. Well, so what kind of approach? Because other points told you are already there. You talk of off-campus association, which is already there. I am able to say because the very same outgoing Minister of Student Affairs, wait for me last year. But you are telling us that you are forming an off-campus association. Please take us seriously. We are in a comprehensive university. We are not here for jokes. Another thing is, you are, to elaborate the question, you talk of students not being empowered. Time. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm the Secretary General outgoing incoming President from the G26, James Reid. You have elaborated extensively for UB high maintenance budget in an operational budget. It hides that arrangement, it hides a Manigoro Masin Visa. It's a top corner, Kumpina, Kubaka Visa, so it's on a motion and see the Kabata for me, in order to Manigo. Mian, we get your wizard on Gom, and also below is going to adopt a strategy corporate social responsibility. We can buy daily pay in the state, in the key industry, stay on when our open for Kubaka maintenance. Our UB might.
Makai.
1 minute.
Dumelang comrades, ke bile mo dilemo tse ho ya incoming vice president wa mona wa Mfudi, and I'll be the vice president of the University of Saturday. My question goes to Mr. Ngoma. Good job, Mr. Ngoma was just 26. Good job, wa adopt initiative on corporate social responsibility. Are you saying also we to the more comment how a little too university so what for I know what I had to tell you so I am over the come Simoniana ho what about Mumato. Thank you. You want to put someone away. Thank you.
Yeah, I want.
30 seconds, hara.
Can I go back over Rewa SPF? On to Uwa, Uga is about with PO, it was a danger. Can I go back over what's up? Since at this point, we have 2 cases that are legal protections as we speak. One, this portfolio, young student affairs, where it's out, all the files that happen, cases, how credible are you going to be?
Hey, thank you. My name is Miguel Kanka, the incoming Minister of Justice. My question is going to say, you have project direct. You can arguably say your government is the one in power right now. You have project direct your agenda at Moscow. So my question to you is, how are you going to make sure both Titi the Baba, Maroon the Baba, as well as other Babas, are empowering enough to compete with the legendary business elitist team? Thank you.
My question is directed to SPF. Tara, we are doing away with the 40% policy rule. But in the same manifesto, we said, when the manifesto is to foster academic excellence, right? So, removing the policy, we are going to now increase failure. The increment of failure we're going to increase because by duty now, by failure. With the intention, so the police in itself, the rest by duty, you can to qualify for the exam so that you can foster academic excellence. So we have a whole 40% rule you inheritance and academic excellence.
My question goes to Tabotan. I'm much interested in how we implement the young can do some implementation of sexual harassment policy. If record there was the member one of the leaders of Mon, if sexually harassed your girlfriend. So we now implement that child. Those are the question to Tabo at the Ahombo. I'm much interested in it's something good, but your leaders have a history of misusing SRC funds. Ibana gilibile wana weski dumagilise. Kwa when I know that was happening, kajopi. Thank you.
Attention,
It's a question.
No.
Borra, ke na motsamisa ke ra retsa neng, please. Retsa neng. Naledi. Hey. Only gonna need you guys to answer these questions in no less than 1 minute 30 seconds. Because of time. Hey, only gonna need you to answer these questions in no less than 2 minutes. 1 minute 30 seconds to answer the question. The last 30 seconds or a higher closing marks. Your closing remarks, sorry. Hey, thank you.
Hey, tlogelang sepepo seo re se utlwa.
Papa, I respect the now. Say, I respect the now. I respect the now. Please. Now go ahead,
I have a question because I'm
Okay, first question was, why do I believe so much in the CSR? The government, Yaro. Firstly, that is why Terminator to attend the problems like the stress for spies. You train yourself to be a leader who thinks outside the box. And another thing, Monarchy has been in power for 5 years, right? It really apart from manual government, what have you done? That is one question I always want to give to you when I terminate and to your movement. And then I will give a threat for a legendary Baba shop is a threat to OTT the Baba. First of all, I want you to understand who you are talking about. TT the Baba was a student here in the university, and the legendary Baba shop, they are still along, they are in the same market. So it all depends on your quality, I would say. So that we thought when I just organize Falanajana Mumadikurujan, our Honta Ori, Separan say is a threat to Babi on Tebai. Jaganale executive vision. Is it a threat to Babi? And then there was a question about accusations on Bol Selekanyo and who making to say that they Bajile mad. Comrades, I want to believe if you are going to be accusing my leaders, you need to bring in facts, and if there's a case, bring it as well. I'm not going to go with accusations that you are going to use to campaign or to decampaign my leaders. So, you guys have proof. Please submit.
moithuti ko lapeng ta ke simolela ka go raya ka re ga o madila ga o jwe ka loleme. That is to say gore o ska ba reetsa di-accusations tse gore ke ga dina weight le gona ga dina bosupi. Right now how monkalong wa nthare ke na le case ko protections. It's very, very important and paramount. What happened, but I've been advised not to answer that particular question. Removing the policy of 40% hey, over by to go fail. Me to be empowered or than just aiming 50%. Because I know why it's over right now the culture within the university happy. Are those the kind of workers in the workspace? No, now I'm saying to improve and to implement academic excellence. Why not flip it? One, baka tissue account rewrite, because most of the time you tell everybody to tell about 40%, 49%, and then lecture still fees them. Who a rewrite or have a makeup test. And through the counseling and student protection council, you need to do some whatever is in the to city or a parallel to what Zama do or Lena Solis. I want to them all Tamuskurum Avatahovi. Don't believe. So Rahona investigations and whatever to some 1 hour can take in. I lecture again upon a do. Can I to get an overall like you get the or can apologize motion because of what to pay. Those investigations are going to be held to participate to the bubble. Time, sir. Thank you.
Kukile dipuso tsa me di le pedi ya nthanele a ga re seleka go kutisa go thoko gore motho a re emela go tona mme a ba sa kgone go reetsa mo dibeke. Simple things ke ne ke tlhalositse gore ra go dira madi jang, ra go dira madi through partnerships and sponsorships, because gore menta gore o palelwa ke gore ha madi. It is upon us for run le baithuti re tswela kontle re ipatele madi from the private sector. We are going to hunt for sponsorships and partnerships from the informal sector gore batho ba re thusa. We will have fundraising campaigns for we will work hand in hand. Even Minister Minister of Sports, for a record also let up money. I will go on that are to say invest to the maintenance, let's say in my hand. Then we want Nadia Hanke show for a same as we are Masai like a Poto Canaya, Haka. I get to Narvata home harass sexually Canaja, Haka. But one thing I'm going to say, I'm not going to say any comment to questions that are fueled by hatred, stupidity, ignorance, and they have nothing to do with the betterment of the student welfare. So you know who to vote for on the 25th of October, the only credible movement in the University of Botswana. Even if it's like a viva on our way to TV.
Okay, as we go to the polling stations on Friday, go and make a wise decision and vote for the GS26, a remedy to struggle.
Hey, closing remarks say, as much as the popularity lady title about Mr. and Mrs. UB, leadership is not recognition. We need leaders by Longorkin. They have action, they have implementation, and they have accountability of what they're doing.
Okay, we to do what I make it by saying that vote for UBCD is the only movement that contains what you want as a student. I believe the manifesto you have heard it, though some of the points I didn't mention, but let's vote for UBCD on Friday. Thank you.
Alright, so that concludes our session. We'll be back in 10 minutes for another debate. Make sure to tune in.